afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. It's your boy Mike D, a.k.a. DDE80, a.k.a. Mike Hennessy, a.k.a. Mr. Hen, a.k.a. 13th Wonder of the World. How y'all doing this afternoon? I hope everybody's having a good day so far. God bless and God keep. Shout out to the Point Place family. You know, ladies and gentlemen, I was going to go on early this morning, but I had something that got in the way of what I was doing. So I'm here now and I'm ready to talk. Today's format is going to be about where I get Justin from. James Harden and the 76ers still at it. Johnathan Taylor and the drama with the Indianapolis Colts. I'm going to get a little bit into the situation with Dak Prescott, the Dallas Cowboys, and the Trey Lance situation. Going to also talk about the Braves and the Dodgers win. Shout out to Bryce Harper for going for his 300th home run. Congratulations to Bryce Harper. And we're also going to talk about the AEW and college football that starts tonight. And also we're going to talk about the AEW Dynamite results and the pay-per-view that they're having again this coming Sunday. So ladies and gentlemen, as I encourage everybody, I want everybody to know that we all have a purpose. And whatever that purpose is, do your purpose, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I want to talk about something I haven't even talked about on the airwaves. And that's James Harden and Daryl Morey 76ers beef. James Harden wants out of Philadelphia. Daryl Morey is not budging. So there's got to be some type of, coming together on this situation. James Harden got what he wanted. Doc Rivers is gone. He left Philadelphia to be on ESPN. Doc Rivers is now going to be the #1 color commentator for ESPN, while the great Mark Jackson is no longer there. You see, I hate that another brother took another brother's spot. And it's all a business deal. Don't get me wrong, it's all about business. But the personal part of it, sometimes you feel like, dang, man, would he really do that to somebody? Yes, he did. ESPN bumped Mark Jackson for Doc Rivers. But Doc Rivers is no longer the coach of the Philadelphia 76ers. Let's just go down the story of James Harden. Okay, James Harden signed, when he got in the NBA, he was drafted to OKC. James Harden had a spot in the finals, and he also won a gold medal. He's been the All-Star MVP, and I think he's been the MVP of the league, if I'm not mistaken. He left OKC because they wanted Serge Ibaka. They paid Serge Ibaka the big dollars, and they didn't pay James Harden. So James Harden ends up going to Houston. He had some great years in Houston. The only problem was with Houston is that he couldn't get them to the NBA Finals. He's kind of like his boy Russell Westbrook. They just can't play with certain guys. So when John Wall came to Houston, James Harden wanted out. They traded him to the Brooklyn Nets, where he was playing with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. That year that Kevin Durant almost took the Nets to the finals by himself, James Harden was a fraction of himself because he was hurt. Then turn around, he left there before the All-Star season that year. He left there and went to the Philadelphia 76ers because him and Daryl Morey was like this. They were tight like gloves. So what happened in that situation? They couldn't beat the Boston Celtics. So they ended up getting put out. Same thing happened this year. Joel Embiid was hurt. Joel Embiid this year finally got the MVP. But the MVP is not an NBA championship because they're comparing him to the Joker. And the Joker said this here. Well, he could have the MVP, but I'm going to have the real thing, the title and the finals MVP. And that's exactly what Joker did this past NBA season. Off season. Guess what happens? James Harden now wants to be traded from Philly, but Doc Rivers get bumped because he was talking about Doc Rivers in the press. So I don't know where he's going to go. A lot of people said he wanted to go back to Houston because he loves H-Town. Don't get me wrong. People love James Harden in H-Town and they wouldn't mind seeing him back over there. But where would he go? If the Lakers had any type of pieces, and they have pieces, but if they had one big major piece, they would try to go for James Harden. And that probably would be Anthony Davis. But it would be LeBron and James if that was to happen. The Lakers could use a James Harden. But AR-15 is showing everybody that he deserves to be in the league. You know, Rui, he's doing his thing. They re-signed him. They got some guys out there. Gabe Vincent can shoot the three. And we'll talk about all that during basketball season when it starts. But I'm here to tell you, James Harden needs to go to a team. He wants to be on the contending team. You think for 1 second that the Phoenix Suns, they just gave up everything for Bradley Beal? Do you think for 1 second that if they could, Phoenix wouldn't get James Harden? I don't know how Kevin Durant would feel about that, but I'm quite sure Devin Booker would love to have him there. You can't do a straight trade between him and Portland because Philly will want Damian Lillard, which I think they would go after him just to get James Harden. But would James Harden stay in Portland? No. He would want to go to a contending team. But keep an eye out for all of this, folks, because I do believe that James Harden might be traded before All-Star break. Because if you start doing that, then he's going to start sitting games. And when you start sitting games, you're losing money like that. Because the fans are not seeing the guy want to play there that they want to see play. And Philly's a tough city. Also, the drama between the Colts and Johnathan Taylor. I don't know what's going on. I've been looking at this a little bit, but I really don't know what's going on. But it seems like there's a disconnect between the organization of the Colts and Johnathan Taylor. He's a bad guy out there on the field. If you're going to make a move for him before the season starts. But they're saying that he's possibly going to start when the season starts. I hope that he does. I hope they can get past this drama because that's the one thing that the Colts have right now going for them, and that's Johnathan Taylor. I hope they get it together with him and the Colts. Also, ladies and gentlemen, this Dak Prescott, Trey Lance situation. I still don't know why Dak has a problem with Trey Lance being on the Cowboys. Will Greer is gone. Cooper Rush is still there. Trey Lance is going to be the third string quarterback. Greer's not there anymore. But I'll tell you this, Dak needs to get that out of the back of his head and start focusing on getting the Cowboys to a Super Bowl. Because he's not going to get rolled off. He's going to stay getting rolled on until he gets them to the Super Bowl. Dallas Cowboys have enough talent to get to the Super Bowl. Man, you got some guys out there. Pollard. You know what I'm saying? CeeDee Lamb. Offense. You guys got a great defense. And you guys got a great kicking team. And a great special team. What is going on? There is no excuse that the Dallas Cowboys do not get to the Super Bowl. They could get to the NFC Championship game, but I would expect them to win if they get there. But the question is who they're going to play in the NFC Championship game if they get there. You have to find that out next week. Because like I said before, the NFC is not Dallas's by a landslide. They got to figure it out. Who do they have that could get that push to get them to the Super Bowl? The Dallas Cowboys need to be in the Super Bowl this year. I know all five of the quarterbacks I said possibly not going to make it. But if they attempt to make it, then they'll be all right. But anyway, Dak, man, help that man along the way, man. I want what's best for Trey Lance. I want Trey Lance to make it. I want to see what he can do. It's a shame the 49ers got Sam Darnold as the backup. When you get Sam Darnold as the backup, we knew right then and there that Trey Lance was gone. But I didn't expect him to go to the Cowboys. But that's where he's at. This was a bad mishandling move by the 49ers. Because as good as Sam Darnold is sometimes he don't do what he's supposed to do neither. So let's just see what happens with the Cowboys and the upcoming season. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to talk about the Astros today. I'm going to leave them alone. But the Astros doing what they're supposed to do. The Braves and the Dodgers, they win again last night. And I'm telling you guys this. This could be the World Series matchup. The Braves and the Dodgers. Or close to it, I'm sorry. Or close to it. Because one of these teams are bound could possibly be in the World Series. I want the Astros to tighten up. They've been tightening up. Dusty's been giving it to them, but they can do better. They've been winning like the last 3 games from what I've saw. They beat the Red Sox in the revenge game, and they pounded on the Tigers. And everybody's pounding on the Tigers. I don't know why the Detroit Tigers are being picked on, but that's what's happening. Also, ladies and gentlemen, Bryce Harper, 300 home runs. That's an accomplishment. Because some people can't even get 100 home runs in their career. But this is great for Bryce Harper and the Phillies. He has done what he needs to do to try to help them. Shout out to Bryce Harper for making this achievement and doing it in this season. Good job, Bryce Harper. Ladies and gentlemen, WNBA games come on tonight. Phoenix versus the Connecticut Sun. Seattle versus the Sparks. And the Mystics versus the Aces. I want to see what Asia and them are going to do in this game tonight. Because they have lost and they've been giving away games. What are they going to do tonight? Is this a game that you just worried about the playoffs, or are you going to try to play hard in this game and try to get this out the way? Play like you want it. Come on, Asia. Come on, Kelsey. Come on, Jackie. Play like you want it. Beat this team. Beat the brakes off this team and let the WNBA know. Let Stewie and let the Connecticut Sun know, look at here. Y'all think y'all doing something, but we are still the champs. Play like the champs. That's the same thing I said about the Astros. Play like you are the champs. Get it in you. Make it happen. Do what you need to do. Make it happen. Wow. So as we make that happen, let me make something else happen. Let me talk about the Seattle Storm and the Sparks. Tonight, I'm not going to pick who wins this game or whatever. But I want to see what Jewel Lloyd does. And I want to see what Jordan Canada do, because I like Jordan Canada. She's a very, very cute basketball player, and she plays hard. As well as Chinese Silver, Negligent. I don't know I can't pronounce their last names, but I know that giant that plays for the Sparks, she's going to try to at least get 10 rebounds. Phoenix and Connecticut. You got Deanna Bonner, Alyssa Thomas going up against Diana Taurasi and Brittany Griner. Ladies and gentlemen, Brittany Griner is one of the best players in the WNBA. And I know she's probably trying to get the rust off of her for not playing last season or whatever with Phoenix. Skylar Diggins-Smith, I think, had another baby. She did not like how the organization of the Mercury did her. They treated her bad. I would like to see Skylar back out there, because Skylar has some go-get with her. I appreciate her. I think that she got it. But we know Diana Taurasi is on the tail end of her career. And I just want to see her go out and at least try to, win something. She already made history by scoring 10,000 points in the WNBA. But I like Diana Taurasi. But Bonner and Thomas, they're on a different level, And I'm telling you right now, they're probably going to win this game tonight, the Connecticut Sun. Also, college football on tonight. We got Nebraska versus Minnesota. I think that Minnesota will probably beat Nebraska. They got NC State, the Wolf Pack, against the Connecticut Huskers. I think that the Wolf Pack will win the game. I'm going to watch these games and see what their wide receivers and what their quarterback and what their running backs and what their guys do. Then you got Kent State versus Central Florida. Telling you, Kent State might win this game. College football is starting to really get back in the grasp of things. Tomorrow night, Michigan State plays. If I'm not mistaken, Michigan State plays tomorrow night. Man, I can't wait to see what my boys, the Spartans, going to do. They better not lay no egg, man, because I'm going to be disappointed if they do. Go Michigan State. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about AEW from last night, Dynamite. There wasn't really too many surprises on there. I thought it would be, but not really. the results of it, you know, the main event was, you know, Penta versus Orange Cassidy. Orange Cassidy beat him with a simple schoolboy, I think a little schoolboy 1-2, not schoolboy, but like a little inside, some basic move in wrestling. I think it was an inside cradle or a roll up or something like that. He beat him 1-2-3. Penta had Cassidy beat. Orange Cassidy was gonna lose, but I keep telling you, Orange Cassidy, he's getting tired. The man is broke up. The man, every time he come out, he got tape all on him. Jon Moxley might be the one to beat Orange Cassidy, because Orange Cassidy don't never talk. He had an interview after this match, not the pay-per-view, but after this match here you had last night. He had a whole conversation. He's talking to the people. You don't see him talk. But it's going to be a great match between him and Moxley. I think Jon Moxley now is going to go down the ladder just a little bit to try to, you know, because they don't want him. They're not putting him in the world title hunt right now. So he's down at the bottom of the, not at the bottom, but at the mid card level with the, you know, All Elite International Championship. You know, that's kind of like, I think that title is kind of like the television title of WCW. You know, because the TNT Championship, that's actually the second belt, top tier belt in the men's division of AEW. So this is like the small, like the under the TNT title, you know, department. So I think that they're moving him down the ladder. I hope that, you know, Orange Cassidy wins, but I wouldn't be surprised if Moxley beats him. Stat ladder, Sheeta and Britt Baker beat Nyla Rose, Maria Shafir, and Emi Sakura. That's just a match to get, you know, get Chris Ladder over, because she's got to defend the title against Ruby Soho at the pay-per-view this Sunday in Chicago. Adam Cole had a promo where he was talking about, you know, Maxwell Jacob Freeman, MJF, as one of his best friends. Well, his other best friend came out, and the Kingdom, which was Roddy Strong, Taven, and Mike Bennett. It ends up with Roddy Strong and those guys going hard on Adam Cole and telling him that he's going to fight, that Roderick Strong is going to fight in the tournament. They have a tournament that's going to put the winner of that match against MJF for the title. But they also have on Rampage, which was taped, and I already know the results to it, but I'm not going to say who it is until tomorrow, where they also have a battle royal to decide who's going to fight MJF and Adam Cole at the pay-per-view coming Sunday for the Ring of Honor Tag Team titles. Wow. You know, Jon Moxley, just talking about Jon Moxley. Jon Moxley beat Commander. I thought it was going to be a squash match, but it actually was a little entertaining match. Jon Moxley will fight Orange Cassidy this Sunday for the AEW International Championship. Eddie Kingston, who was the, you know, the strong champion, I think, of New Japan Wrestling, he beat Willa Yuta in a match where he defended the title, and then comes out Cesaro or Claudio, whatever you want to call him. I think that they're probably going to see a title for title match. I don't know if that's where they're going with this, but it's going to be Claudio versus Kingston soon, because they keep putting that idea right there in. And also, let me go back to the women's tag match between Chris Statlander, Britt Baker, Sheeta versus Nyla Rose, Saphira, and Emi Sakura. There was tension in the match between Britt Baker and Hikaru You know, Hikaru Shida. Excuse me. Sorry, getting kind of tongue twisted. Hikaru Shida. Very beautiful, skilled woman. Britt Baker. We know that she's a doctor off camera. I don't know how they're teasing this, but it looks like they're trying to make the match between Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida. We don't know when it's going to happen, but it looks like they're teasing that. Chris Statlander is looking like, what's going on here? Or, you guys got to remember this. Britt Baker is nobody to be trusted. Britt Baker might want to become the TBS champion, because it's been a while since he's been a champion. And this is why I say what I say about AEW. WWE has a women's tag team championship. Why does not AEW have a women's tag team title? You can build a tag team with the girls that you got. Willow Nightingale and Sky Blue. That's a tag team right there that you could put and make a tournament for this. If I'm Tony Khan, I'm like, hey man, look here, man. You got 3 shows, man. Why don't you put a women's tag team title on one of those shows? And I'll tell you the show that they need to do it on. Rampage. You wanna know why? Even though Rampage is already recorded and already people know the spoilers, every Friday now they have a women's main event. A women's main event on Rampage. They've been having it for like the last 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shows, if I'm not mistaken. They have a women's main event on Rampage. Why not put a AEW women's tag team title on Rampage? Make it happen, Tony Khan. And I'm gonna close out the AEW talk of this pod by talking about Billy Gunn, Max Caster, Anthony Bowens. They're the new AEW 6-man tag team champions, man. They beat the House of Black. But ladies and gentlemen, they have a new name for themselves since they're the champions. And they call the House of ASS. You remember Mr. A, Billy Gunn? They're going with that right now. The House of ASS. Bad Billy Gunn. B.A. Billy Gunn. They're using his name to make their trios group. Plus, they got the new titles that are pink. They got the new tag team titles, the 6-man tag team titles, they got a pink. And they got the scissors on the part where you take the belt and put it and lock the belt behind you. It's crazy because that was crazy. Man, I was watching that and I was talking to Fadeaway, aka Mike Williams, and I was telling him, I say, man, he was looking like, he said, man, they too old for this, man. They talking about Billy Gunn. But when they showed the belts and they got the little part on the back of the belt that got scissors on it, it's hilarious. You guys got to watch that. If you haven't watched that on YouTube or watched it, last night, you got to watch that part, that segment when the Acclaim comes out there with the celebration and the ceremony with Mr. You know what, Billy Gunn. That's crazy. That's just crazy. That makes you laugh right there when you see that, man. It just makes you laugh, man. And I laughed, literally laughed when I saw it. And Fadeaway was texting me at the time. He said, man, what is this? What are these guys doing, man? He's like, they too old for this. Oh, man, that was funny. But also shout out to the Acclaim and Billy Gunn for winning the AEW six-man tag team championship. Oh man, that was so funny, man. For you that haven't seen it, go to YouTube. I guarantee on YouTube you'll see that and you'll trip out laughing at that. And it's just humor to me. I'm not going against anybody that, that way or whatever. That's them, I respect everybody. Another note on wrestling, Jackson Riker retires. This guy, I think this guy was Gunner in TNA a long time ago. And he did something in WWE that was kind of racist or something. I can't remember what happened, but to them, they thought he was being a racist or whatever, so they let him go. So now, I guess he didn't have any wrestling or wasn't wrestling anyway. Maybe he probably was doing some, independent stuff or whatever, or underground or whatever. But he comes out and tells everybody he's retiring from professional wrestling, and I want to say this about people like that. What you be doing is wrong. Everybody's accountable for what they do. Everybody's accountable for the actions that they make. And everybody's accountable for the mistakes that they do. I'm not saying that we don't make mistakes, because we all make mistakes. Ain't none of us perfect on this earth. There's only one perfect one, and that's in the sky. The big man upstairs. Man, and I'm going to say this, and then I'll probably close it out. We got to stop with this hatred among color. And it's sad to say that it ain't going to stop, because it's like beating a horse at times. We all see what happened. I'm not going to go into that. One day I will go into a podcast where I just talk about social injustice, because it needs to be talked about. The color of your skin should not matter about making business decisions and making money. That's exactly what's happening. It's been happening, and it's still happening, and it's happening worse now than it was back then. The color of my skin should not neglect me from getting a great job that I want. The color of my skin should not just have me settled at a base income when you're letting another certain color get high income. I'm not being racist. I'm not being none of that. I'm just saying that we need to stop this. We need to treat one another equal. That's all I'm asking. Equal opportunities. That's all we want. That's all we want. I don't know what happened with Jackson Riker, but I hope whatever it is, I hope he asks God to forgive him for the mistake that he made and try to make his life better. Maybe he have had a conversation with God. I don't know. But nobody hasn't heard from him in about 2 years. But he makes the headline saying he retired from wrestling. I hope everything goes fine for him. I want everybody to be fine. I know your day might not be the way that it is all the time, but still in all, still have some type of joy in your life. Misery loves company. But if I'm miserable and you're miserable, we just gonna be miserable together. Somebody has to say, hey, look, let's just stop being like this and let's just try to work on whatever we got. I want to work on myself. I know at times I can be hard. But I want to work on myself because I don't want to lose what I have. I don't want to lose my joy. I don't want to lose my peace. I don't want to always be a guy, if I make a huge mistake or something like that, I don't want to be that guy that every time people see me, oh man, that's the dude that did this here, did that. I don't want to be that guy. I want to be the guy, if I make a mistake, let's forgive and move on with our life. I don't like holding grudges. You know what? And I'm going to say this and then I'm going to leave. Mike Shavers and the Point Place family, most of them know this guy. Mike Shavers has been dead now for 21 years. He was one of my best friends. When I moved to Point Place back in '97, the first person I saw was my homeboys GT, Freaky, Brandon Johnson, Bobby Otterberry, Mike Shavers, and all the Wilson boys. And I know every last one of them because I love I went to school with Kevin, and I grew up with them in the same church. Every last one of the Wilson boys. And B.Ray was also somebody I met too. Shout out to B.Ray. Shout out to all these fellows, man. And I remember me and my boy had a disagreement. And I'm not going to say why we had a disagreement, but we had one. One day I went round to his house. I had a conversation with him. I was the bigger person. Because it happened, we both butted heads about the situation. It wasn't nothing like about no girl or nothing like that. That wasn't even the case. It was something real stupid and petty. And me and him shook hands, and I hugged him, he hugged me back. He said, "You always gonna be my boy." I go to Shreveport, Bossier City, go up to my auntie house because my cousin was doing something. We was up there for Easter break. I'll never forget that. And my grandmother, bless her soul, Grandma Bertha, she called up to my auntie house because my uncle was gone, but my auntie was there. She said, "Put Michael on the phone. I want to talk to him." So I get on the phone. I say, "How you doing, Grandma?" She say, "Baby, is you all right?" I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." And this was the day that I think this was the day I was about to leave to come back home. She said, "I hate to tell you this, but your mama called. Mama Cookie." Love that lady. Bless her soul too. Shout out to Mama Cookie. She said, "Your mama said one of your best friends died." I'm like, "Huh?" She said, one of your friends, Mike, died. And I know she wasn't talking about Williams because I had just got through talking to him earlier that day on the phone. She said, "No." She said, the boy that stay in Point Place around the corner from y'all. I said, "Mike Shavers." She said, "Yeah." And so I was like, I was like, "What happened to him?" She said he died in a car wreck. And he had his son with him. I was hurt by that because that was one of my close friends. And I was glad that me and him patched up the little issue we had before it happened. Sometimes life does that, man. God bless his soul, though. I got nothing but love for him. And that's no lie. He was one of my friends. He was one of my close friends. But what I'm saying is that life too short for all the confusion at times. try to make a way and try to do a better way about things. And that goes for anything. That goes for a relationship. That goes for a situationship. That goes for a friendship. That goes for business. That goes for all of it. I know that I can be a handful at times. But I don't want my handful to cost me somebody or something that's very valuable to me. I don't want that. Because then I'm going to be miserable. And I don't want to be misery, meeting misery, company of misery. I don't want that. I just want everybody to be happy. I want everybody to be blessed. I want everybody to prosper. Even if you don't like me, I still want you to be good. And I'm going to tell you something. As close as I am to the man upstairs, I want you to know this. I have to love you and like you even though you don't like me. It's just that simple. I might dislike some of the ways that you have, but I cannot dislike you as a person. Yeah, it be some effed up stuff going on, man. Yeah, people do effed up stuff to people, man. I might not like the situation, but I don't not have hatred for, because I don't have hatred for you. I might not like the situation, how it went down, but I got to like you as a person. I have to respect you. Whether you respect me or not, it's just that simple. People need to realize that. We all can be happy. And there's just misery. These shootings still going on. They need to stop. Social injustice is still going on. It needs to stop. Cops are getting away with killing people. And they're not even being accounted for it. Not everybody is threatening these policemen. These policemen think that everybody is on edge with them. And they are. But I just want people to know there are better ways of doing this. If you want to live, you got to think with the mind of living and not dying. That's simple. I'm not saying go against your morals, but I'm saying there's always a better way to do things. That's my side thought for the day. Side note, side thought, either one. So ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back on that big Friday before the weekend starts off, Labor Day weekend as it is. I will be talking about the college football games, Major League Baseball. Tonight is Impact Wrestling. I might talk about Impact Wrestling tomorrow. The USA Open, I think it's still going on. Maybe or maybe not. They might have took a break from it, but I think it's still going on. Yes, it's still going on. Anything that interests my eye, I will talk about that. Also, the WNBA, I'll give you the results of the WNBA games. Also, tomorrow is also college football still going on. Michigan State does play tomorrow night, I think, and I want to see what they're going to do out there on that field, man, because I want them to win. Get back in the top 25. If you're in the top 25, Michigan State, that means you're guaranteed a bowl game, a nice, good size, or a regular bowl game. I'm not expecting Michigan State to be one of the top 4 in the BCS. I'm not. Not that. But I want them to at least be somewhere in the top 25. And also, I think that Northwestern plays against Louisiana Lafayette, the Raging Cajuns. I also keep an eye on them. I don't know if my little homeboy AJ still plays with them. But I think he does. But even if he's not there, shout out still to the Raging Cajuns. And shout out to the Demons. But that's all for right now, ladies and gentlemen. I am Mike D, a.k.a. Mr. Hennessy, a.k.a. Mike Hen, a.k.a. DDE80. You guys have a blessed day. You guys keep God in your life. You guys thank God first. But most of all, love the person that is in your circle. Love them. They might not like some things that you do or say, but love them anyway. Just don't be to the point where you don't want to have no more dealings with them. Keep that in mind. All right. See you later.